After Murph's death, the situation on Cooper Station is not one of peace, but of political conflict. Different groups want to determine the station's ultimate fate, and the information circulating throughout the station is contradictory. Many feel betrayed by the alleged Plan B, which would have abandoned the people of Earth, and they want to bring down the leadership responsible for those decisions. Others are eager to leave the station and begin their lives in a new home. Conspiracy theorists claim that the Lazarus missions never happened. On Edmunds' Planet, 10 years after her arrival, Brand is analyzing historical footage from a few laboratory cameras as part of her botanical research. But she notices something strange: a nighttime movement toward the communications module. It appears to be TARS. She immediately calls Cooper. Apprehensive, they dig into the old data and discover what looks like a deletion of messages. What exactly did TARS do? Overcome with uncertainty, Brand feels a sudden rush of adrenaline. Her life as a scientist has never been easy, and she fears she is on the brink of an emotional breakdown. Her past is heavy and difficult to process. During the first 10 years, the girls born from incubators were instructed about their purpose. But the ethical dilemma faced by Brand and Cooper kept disturbing her sleep. Should the future of humanity depend on choices quietly planted in the minds of innocent girls? Should contributing to reproduction be treated as an impersonal choice? Brand feels that her father's plan was far more difficult than she ever imagined back on Earth. In the other galaxy, Plan A seemed to be following its course. Cooper Station had been slowly dispatching expeditions to reevaluate the 12 original planets. Unlike the desperate rush of the first Lazarus missions, these efforts are now bogged down by bureaucracy and strict safety protocols. And while studying the promising three-planet system near the black hole Gargantua, scientists realized something new. Gargantua's accretion disk and gravitational lensing interfere with their observations. Depending on the orbital geometry, Edmunds' planet remains behind Gargantua's veil for years at a time, making contact and travel difficult. Cooper's departure had taken advantage of one of the last windows of opportunity. This means that the reconnaissance expedition to Edmunds' planet would have to be the last of the 12. Due to conflicts of interest, Cooper's escape was kept strictly classified. Only a handful of messages were transmitted to Edmunds' planet before the communication window closed, instructing, "Do not alter the planet's ecosystem. Suspend Plan B until authorities arrive. It may take time." But they never received those messages. TARS and CASE had been programmed to preserve humanity and ensure the execution of Plan B. By secretly monitoring the messages, TARS concluded that Cooper Station's instructions were not appropriate. Cooper confronts him harshly. "You lied to us." TARS says that omission is different from lying. The situation on Edmunds' planet is transformed. Cooper considers shutting down the robots he can no longer trust. Some of the girls defend them. They have grown too attached and see them as living beings. Suddenly, the hatch where they are standing is opened from the outside. Two humanoid robots enter and ask, "Do you support the Meridian Concord?" Confused, Cooper tries to take a more peaceful approach, but Case, as a military robot, steps up to the front line. Once again, the fate of the planet and of humanity is being put to the test. The Meridian Concord is the federation that controls the expeditions and Cooper Station. But the demand for democracy has been causing deeper and deeper divisions. To convince the population and prevent factions from forming, the Meridian Concord wants the figures of Cooper and Brand on its side when the time is right. But its style of governance is becoming increasingly authoritarian, and that is reflected in its machines. Shortly after arriving, the humanoid robots realize that the station on Edmunds Planet has not followed the guidelines of Plan A, and they begin taking a more aggressive approach. The Meridian Concord's grip on power is already hanging by a thread, and any misstep could trigger their downfall. While it waits for news from the expedition to Edmunds Planet and tries to establish control over the station, the situation descends into chaos when an independent scientist publishes evidence that the wormhole may be becoming unstable and could soon close. The decision of whether to cross and where to go will have to be made soon. But by whom? Amid the disorder, one of the workers leaks the information that Murph's father left the station years earlier. It is curious to think that humanity will eventually evolve to the point of constructing the Tesseract. But what kind of humanity will that be? The next and final chapter of this saga will bring many answers. Subscribe and follow the channel on X as well. Thank you all for your support.